What is up, you guys? It is Reverse and welcome back to another episode of Boom Beach, and today we're starting off our new series of Boom Beach base reviews. In the very first episode, I'm going to be featuring 4 bases, so that way you guys get a feel for the series. That way you guys know what you can expect from the Boom Beach base review series, and that way you guys know if you want to be getting your base featured. If you want to get your base featured, make sure you comment the template in the comment section down below as well, and make sure you use your hashtag of the task force. Some people actually use their own task force name. For example, EA Games actually wrote down Apocalypse, and honestly, if you take the name Apocalypse, there's going to be a million guilds or task forces with the name Apocalypse. So naturally, I was unable to actually find your task force name, and that is the reason why I am not going to be featuring your base, okay? So that being said, going to task force, third line here, task force tag, make sure you write that down instead of your task force name. Okay, that being said, let's move on to the very first base. So the very first person we're going to be featuring is actually in the task force called GetRekt, and his name is Kingsley. He's actually a Reddit user who actually commented as well, and he was like, you know, Reverso, this is like a great series, let's go ahead and check it out, see if you can review my base. Well, I'm about to do that. You're level 47, 491 medals, so let's check out his base. What I know about his base is that his headquarters is right now level 16, and he has a defensive statue, and his defensive statue is actually pretty nice. It's a 21%. So in that regard, you're pretty much already settled, I must say. Now, there's one weak spot about this base, and that weak spot is that it's easily being overpowered by tanks. I'm gonna show you guys why that is. Now, if you see the look at this base, it is very symmetrical. There's a rocket launcher here, rocket launcher there, rocket launcher everywhere. You're also relatively high level for level 16 headquarters. That means that you actually really worked on your defenses, and that's a really great thing. As a matter of fact, I would actually encourage you to go one level above that to headquarters 17, so you can already get your shock launcher. That way your defenses are gonna be enhanced a whole lot better. Only if you already drop that shock launcher, people are unable to take down both boom cannons or both rocket launchers or anything like that, because they also have to focus on the shock launcher. And in your case, I would probably place this machine gun over here next to the quarry and place that shock launcher right here in the middle. So that is my tip to you, maybe already when it comes down to a shock launcher. Definitely something you might want to be considering. But let's go on with the tank weakness here. So over here is your weak spot. And the reason for that is, well, basically if I drop a shock here next to that quarry hut, next to the little crane here, like right in the middle here, you're going to be able to get both of the cannons over here and even the rocket launcher. And I'm going to demonstrate it why that is. Because I have a guy on my base, on my map here, this Japanese guy, and well, over here he has the exact same thing ongoing. Like, the distance is exactly the same, I checked it out, and if I drop one very carefully right around here, you're going to be getting 6 buildings, including both cannons. And that is trouble on itself. That is the same thing if we drop it here. You're going to be getting a lot of these buildings. You're going to be getting all 6 of them again. So that is something you should definitely consider. Check out your range of your buildings, because that is very important stuff down there. Let's actually head over back to his base. So once again, these 2 cannons are definitely the danger zone down there. You might want to be considering to move this sculpture a little bit more to the left and a little bit more to the front and the left side, so that way it actually goes near the cannon, is near the sniper tower, or move the sniper tower a little bit more to the back, so that way this sculpture can go one to the left and this cannon as well. It's definitely a weak point, because the thing is, you don't need a whole lot of energy to actually take out the base, because you're picking up a lot of energy anyway. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's already 33 energy that someone can go ahead and pick up in between. So that way people will already have the chance to actually take out both boom mines as well. And that makes your boom mines pretty worthless down there. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, why this base is so easy, is because if you already consider the fact, if you drop a barrage on this boom cannon, it costs you 10 energy. Drop an artillery shell, it's most likely dead, but let's just say if you need 2 artillery shells to actually take down the boom cannon alongside with the barrage, that is 18 energy. On top of that, dropping all of your tanks is going to be cost you 24 energy if you have 6 landing crafts full of tanks and 1 landing craft of medics. In this case, you have the same thing, but you're only going to be needing 20 energy because you got 2 landing crafts of medics. So let's just assume there are 6 landing crafts of tanks and 1 of medics. So in that case, you're already using 42 energy. Plus the 7 you're going to be getting from the shock bomb, that is 49 energy. So with 49 energy, you're going to be able to take out this base relatively easily. If you have a little bit more energy, you can also pick up the boom line with an artillery shell. And that's just what I want to get out of the way. By the time the tanks arrive here, this boom cannon barely has range on the tanks. If one player actually plays it smart, he's probably going to be dropping a flare down here. So that way he gets out of range of the boom cannon. But other than that, they can just keep it shocked. And that way do a lot of damage on the headquarters, actually taking it down in the long run. So that is my tip to you. It's a very nice base, but it's relatively weak against tanks. And that's partly to do with the fact that it's so symmetrical that everything is just in line with each other. So for example, this is all here. There's a definite line here about the cannons. So it's a very nice looking base. But once again, tanks are going to be your biggest enemy in my opinion. You have everything very awesome defended for warriors here. So nothing really wrong there. Okay, that being said, let's move on to the next one. It's actually going to be a colleague from Kingsley. His name is Extremely Gamer. He's also a Reddit user, and he's actually the leader of this task force. Let's check him out. So, we have arrived at the base of Extremely Gamer. He's level 33 with 237 medals. Now, his base, his headquarters, is right now level 14. Level 14 is what I experienced to be a pretty rough level when it comes down to defenses. If you don't have a defensive statue, you might face some issues here and there when it comes down to defending your base. But then again, 237 medals, I really would not be that worried because not a lot of people on 237 medals have smoky warriors. So that's also another thing. People around this level really tend to defend greatly based on the warriors, but in this case this is a pretty nice and balanced defense, and the reason for that is because there's a lot of cannons near the base and a lot of flamethrowers as well. So essentially where usually would be the machine guns, he got some cannons down there, and they're relatively high level here as well, which is really nice to see. So in overall I feel that this is going to be a great defense. But yet again, there is a weak spot. The weak spot is actually in this area. I already showed you guys before that if you actually shock bomb like the right spot here, you're going to be shock bombing this, and that. And that's something that you don't want to be happening. This base doesn't have only one weak spot, it has actually had 2 of them. And the second weak spot is here, this machine gun. If you actually get this machine gun right, you're going to be getting this one. These 2 sniper towers, these 2 cannons, and this boom cannon. And that's something that you just don't want to be happening on your base, because that will just ensure that people can just waltz in your base pretty easily without the troops actually be getting some damage. And what is this machine gun going to be doing anyway? It's only level 7 and it's only doing 40 damage, so that doesn't really help out that greatly. So what I would be doing in your case, Extremely Gamer, is I would be moving the sniper tower back a little bit, and maybe this one as well. I'm not entirely sure, but I kind of feel that's already going to be helping out your base tremendously. Other than that, I feel that your headquarters is pretty nicely protected there with the rocket launcher down there. You also got some boom cannons here and there. I would potentially remove your mines from here and actually get them more into the base. It's pretty nice what you're doing here, but the thing is, it's pretty useless to have these mines down there. The thing is, it's only doing 94 damage. Well, on one heavy, that's not really gonna be doing a whole lot there. And in this area of these levels, people are just gonna be attacking with heavy and Zuka anyway. So what I would be doing, what would be a little bit of fun here, is actually drop all of these mines at the right side. And because you do that, there's going to be a lot of people like kind of afraid of the mines here, and they are automatically more inclined to go to the left side, also eliminating your little issue here with the buildings being cropped together. That might be like another suggestion you might be doing, because people generally are afraid of mines, and I know for a fact that if I see a lot of mines together, I'm like, well, that is one spot I'm not gonna be going there. And like 2 or 3 times or something like that, I actually fell for the trap and I died because the other side was defended way better than the other side. So that's another tip I can give you. Hopefully that helps you out. I'm not entirely sure, but once again, around these levels, don't focus too much when it comes down to the warrior rush. Also your boom mines. Your boom mines, let me see. I would essentially even maybe drop a boom mine behind this sniper tower. That could be an issue, I mean not an issue, that could be a tip as well. But once again, buildings not too close together and do something with the mines. Let's move on to the next one. The next base we're going to be reviewing is from SunJKR, and SunJKR is higher level than I am, way higher level. As a matter of fact, his headquarters is going to level 20 now, which by the way, congratulations, is a great thing. Now, there is like several weak spots here and there on this base, because first of all, your metal count is really high. That means that around your level, you're gonna be facing a lot of monsters pulverizing your entire base. So in that term, you cannot really do a whole lot about that. Then again, there is some things here and there that you could do in order to enhance your base, and I'm gonna be going over them. There's one thing that I immediately notice when I see your base, and that is this little like pile of free energy down there. I wouldn't really recommend that. Place some of it at the right side, because there's nothing here literally, with the exception of a very nicely hidden masterpiece, which I would really recommend to hide your masterpiece for building health down there, so that way people are not able to find it. But then again, you know, you're very offensive type. You can also see that by the amount of guardians that you're having for gunboat energy. So in that regard, you know, you're doing really well. That's one thing that I can say. But what I can say as well is that your defenses, you know, your sniper towers are lower than my level. So you're not really working a lot on defenses, and these are only level 12. Boom cannons are pretty higher level, that's one thing for sure. Also flamethrowers, you've been working on that. But other than that, you know, you're not really working on defense. You're more of an offensive type of player. So what you could potentially do is, as a matter of fact, because you got this boom mine over there, which is a little bit worthless, and 2 over here, is maybe swap this little wood storage with this sniper tower, and that way place a mine behind this sniper tower, because otherwise people are just going to be rushing your base with warriors. And once again, over at this side or this side, people are able to get like all of these buildings tied together when it comes down to one shock bomb, and you generally just want to be avoiding that. So that is already one tip I can give you, is maybe just, you know, maybe just like sniper tower and wood storage down there. Don't really be too concerned about the shock launcher. It is still though that if you drop one shock launcher there, that you're going to be able to get all of these buildings over there. But regardless of that, that should be okay for you. There's another thing that I noticed, and that are these 2 boom mines and 1 boom mine behind this one. They're all at the right side, which is okay and all, but as I already mentioned before, when I see this base, or if you would be seeing this base, you would be more likely to attack from the left side. So make sure you defend your left side a little bit better here, because I can see myself breaking through this if I get a little bit stronger, like around your level. I kind of have the feeling that your left side is going to be the weak side of the entire base, because I wouldn't really be going from the right side anyway, if that makes a lot of sense. So maybe do something with 1 boom mine. I would definitely leave this one down there, because that one is just great. But maybe place one of these boom mines like somewhat in play, so that way it can kind of scare people off here and there, and throwing them off the original attack they actually initially had planned, and that way you might be winning some defenses down there. And once again, this statue is a true masterpiece on itself, the way it got placed there. Okay, let's move on to the last one. The last base we're going to be covering off today is in Texas Army, and his name is Gary. He's level 34 with 253 medals. Pretty much similar to Extremely Gamer, kind of the same level range and everything, but in this case he's only level 13 on the headquarters, so that's already okay on itself. And what I see is a very symmetrical base, maybe too symmetrical. And I also see a problem here. Maybe it's not that much of a problem, but I do notice it. I'm just noticing everything, and I just pointed out maybe you can do something with it. It isn't necessarily a problem here, but you got these rocket launcher and the boom cannon very nicely placed there, but they're pretty close together. So maybe, you know, get them apart from each other, because if someone drops a barrage on, let's say, the boom cannon might go down or doesn't need a lot of damage anymore, and your rocket launcher as well, you know, gets some damage of that as well. So that's maybe something you want to be working with. What I would also say is if you are intending to swap anything of these two buildings, then make sure that it's going to be the rocket launcher, because the rocket launcher covers a wide amount of range. Or maybe even the boom cannon, I don't know. Maybe even the boom cannon. Yeah, that would be even better, because the rocket launcher is okay down there. It's not really going to be causing a lot of troubles anywhere else, and is basically covering the entire base. So maybe just the boom cannon. And the boom cannon could be placed around this little area down there. Maybe swapping it with the machine gun. Or maybe even swapping it with the sniper tower. I have no idea, but that would be maybe a nice idea. There's not a whole lot of chance for, you know, everything to be picked up here, because people will be being under fire anyway. Or maybe, you know, you're gonna be able to get all of this energy. I'm not entirely sure. What I would actually swap in your case is the residences with the quarry and the sawmill, because you see those residences, the quarry and the sawmill have a little bit more health down there. So you might want to be swapping those three out with these two. I'm not entirely sure about that one, but that is something that I would do, because if they actually take out the residents, they are going to be facing the sawmill, and the sawmill just has a little bit more defense down there. It could also work the other way around, I'm not entirely sure, but that's kind of how I feel towards this base. Other than that, once again, in your area, not a lot of people actually have the smoke screen and the warriors. So what I would maybe even do is move this flamethrower and swap it up with this cannon, because the cannon has a lot of range. If it's near the headquarters, when people attack with tanks and heavies, or I mean tanks and medics and heavy and Zuka, the cannon over here near the base, near the headquarters, actually next to the headquarters, is going to be doing a lot of damage down there. You already have a very nice cannon down there, but if there would be another cannon down there, that would be really, really helpful, because people will be having to take out this flamethrower regardless. And well, flamethrowers aren't really all that strong around that level. They will be very devastating later on, but early on in the game, they just really won't be that devastating. So that is my tip to you. As I already mentioned before, people around your level are just a little bit too concerned about warrior rush. I wouldn't really be that concerned. I would start being concerned about it whenever you see a lot of defenses being lost against warriors. Then you can basically make the necessary changes. And the thing is, whenever the warriors reach your base anyway, good chance that they're going to be taking it down anyway. So that's basically what I wanted to get out of the way. So that being said, those are all of the bases that I wanted to be reviewing for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this very first episode of the Boom Beach reviews. I kind of really noticed that 4 bases is a little bit long, so I'm going to be keeping it to 3 bases for the next episode. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to write down your submissions if you feel you can actually help out someone that you saw in this episode with their base a little bit more. Give your feedback in the comment section down below. And that being said, as always, make sure that if you guys like this video, to boom, give it a thumbs up. This has been Reversal for Boom Beach. I'm gonna be signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.